In the far northwest of Washington, hidden beneath the endless gray sky, there lies a lake that almost no one remembers, Cedar Lake. A stretch of cold, unmoving water surrounded by pines that never seem to end, and a silence so deep that even the birds avoid flying over it. In summer, the fog hovers low, thick and heavy like smoke. In winter, the lake freezes from the edges inward, as if the world itself is trying to seal it shut. The locals say the mist there has weight, that it feels like breathing inside someone else's dream. And on the far northern shore, hidden behind the birch trees and half buried in moss, there stands a house. No one remembers when it was built. No one remembers who lived there, but everyone remembers the light. Every night at 3:15 a.m., without fail, a single light flickers on in the top window. It glows softly for a few minutes, then fades away into the fog. No one has gone near that house in decades, at least not anyone who returned to speak about it. Alex Turner was 27. He had made a career out of curiosity. He filmed forgotten places, abandoned motels, decaying schools, silent towns swallowed by forests. His voice had become familiar online, that calm tone describing things the world had chosen to forget. But lately, his videos weren't doing well. Too ordinary, too predictable. He wanted something different, something that felt alive. And when he read about Cedar Lake House, that feeling returned. The story was simple, almost disappointingly so. An empty house, a single light, every night at the same time. Still, something about it felt wrong in a way he couldn't name. He packed his equipment before the sun rose. 2 cameras, a drone, a microphone, spare drives, and an old lantern that once belonged to his grandfather. He left Seattle that morning, driving north until the signs disappeared into fog. The further he went, the quieter the world became. The radio lost its signal. Phone service vanished. Even the sound of his tires seemed to dull, as if the road itself was softening beneath the car. By the time he reached the lake, daylight had almost vanished. The air was heavy, filled with the scent of wet earth and pine resin. The sky hung low, and the trees leaned toward the road as though listening. There was no welcome sign, no fence, no lights, just the faint glimmer of water between the branches and something tall and gray at the edge of it. The house. From a distance, it looked like any other ruin. Closer, it didn't. The wood had darkened into the color of ash. The roof sagged in the middle, and yet the walls were still straight, still solid, as if refusing to collapse. The front door hung open by a single hinge, swaying just enough to make a sound that wasn't quite a creak, more like a breath. Inside, the air was still. Every step sent a slow echo through the empty rooms. Cobwebs draped from the ceiling like curtains. A single chair stood in the corner of what used to be a living room, its shadow stretching long across the floor. Dust clung to the air, turning the beam of his flashlight into a thick, golden haze. Alex placed his camera on a table that had warped with age. He adjusted the lens, focused it towards the staircase leading up to the second floor, and began recording. The red light blinked once, and the house seemed to grow quieter. Outside, the fog pressed against the windows like a living thing. Time moved differently in that silence, slower, heavier. Every second seemed to expand. The camera whirred softly. Its blinking light reflected off the dusty window, and for a moment, Alex thought he saw movement in the glass, a shape that didn't match his own. But when he turned, there was only the empty hallway. He climbed the stairs. Each step groaned, a sound that seemed to come from deep within the wood. Upstairs, the air felt colder, like the temperature had dropped by several degrees. A faint scent of something metallic lingered, as if rain had been trapped inside the walls. In one of the rooms, a small picture frame lay face down on the floor. He lifted it carefully. Inside was a photograph of a man and a woman standing by the lake, smiling at the camera. Behind them, through a window in the house, a faint light glowed, the same light that now seemed to pulse from somewhere above him. He placed the frame back where he found it. When he turned toward the hallway, his camera, still downstairs, made a faint mechanical click, as though it had begun recording again on its own. He stood there, frozen, listening. The house made no other sound, but something inside the silence had shifted. It felt like the space itself had rearranged. Morning came without light. The sky stayed the same dull gray. Alex woke up in his car, parked by the lake. He didn't remember leaving the house. His hands were covered in dust. The camera sat on the passenger seat beside him, its battery dead, its screen cracked. When he tried to play the footage, a week later, local authorities found an abandoned car by the lake. Inside were a camera, a few batteries, and a small notebook. The final line written inside read, "The lights no longer reflect on the water." Since that night, the coordinates for Cedar Lake House have vanished from online maps. Satellite images show a smudge of gray where the lake's northern edge should be. Yet some users claim that around 3:15 a.m., a faint image sometimes appears. A small house, a glowing window, and a figure standing still in the mist. No one can prove it. But in some frames, if you look closely, a reflection seems to stare back. Today, Cedar Lake is silent. The air hangs heavy. The water doesn't ripple. And if you listen carefully in the deepest part of the night, a faint clicking sound can be heard from across the lake. The quiet, mechanical sound of a camera shutting off. And then, for just a second, a single window light flickers through the fog. A brief flash, a reminder. Then everything goes still again, as if nothing ever happened.